Welcome to the 2350 Effect.
Well, it's Sunday, and welcome to the 2350 Effect. I'm your co-host, collaborator for the 2350 Effect on this Sunday, November 16th. I am Damian Kinsey, and I'm joined as always by my collaborator, co-host of the 2350 Effect, 2350 Network, the Work-Life Balance Summit, the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit, the Virtual Wellness Experience. Dr. Farron, introduce yourself to everybody out there and tell them a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us again tonight on this Sunday evening. I'm Tanya Farron, the owner of Creative Living Ideas, who helps support and get these great events off the ground. The Work-Life Balance Summit, the Virtual Wellness Experience, as well as helping support with the 2350 Effect and Network. So absolutely love this. This is great. Love being here with Damian, my partner in these projects. Absolutely love it. So excited tonight. We've got two amazing professionals with us tonight for you all to hear from, and lots to talk about. And I think you'll love these two amazing dynamic women that we are going to bring forward on the stage.
Yes, definitely on a topic that we would love to talk about, have a conversation around as well. Dr. Farron, you want me to introduce, or you wanted to introduce them?
Why don't you do one and I'll do one?
Okay. All right. So we have two amazing guests who need no introduction, and they're not strangers to the 2350 Effect. The first guest is she does a lot of stuff about healing, supporting people in a lot of communities and environments. Really passionate, really good at public speaking, and can really work a room and help kids and families and communities through therapeutic supports, relational trauma. Dr. Q, welcome to the 2350 Effect.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here, Damian and Dr. Tanya. It is such a pleasure to spend this Sunday with you guys today. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
for
much
having me.
Yes. And Dr. Q and I collaborate together as well on Parenting in the Trenches. So it is a show that we do at least once a month. We like getting additional episodes out, but at least once a month. So always fun to partner with you as well, Dr. Q. All right. And so our next guest is an amazing lady who owns Dream Education. And she is also the owner of the I Thrive magazine for teens and the Women's Leadership Experience. So please welcome up Dr. Rowe. Dr. Royanne Patrick Hendricks is what she goes by. I'm sorry, but I call her Dr. Rowe. That's all I ever call her, Dr. Rowe.
I'm like, does she know who she called to see if she wants to be on the show today? Hey guys, it's good seeing you. Hey, Dr. Q.
Hey, Dr. Rowe. Nice to see you again.
It's nice to see you too. It's been a minute.
It has.
Yeah. Yep. Good seeing you all. Thank you so much for having me on, Dr. Tanya and Damian.
Yes, we're excited that you both are joining us today. You know, when we were thinking about guests for this show, we couldn't think of two more perfect people to pair together to talk about thriving and healing on the show tonight. So we're excited that you were able to join us to talk about these topics and tell everybody the amazing things about what you guys are doing. So we've got questions lined up. Thanks for everyone who has joined us so far in the audience. Christy Williams, thank you so much. Dr. Stella, Jackie, appreciate you all being here so much. All right, Damien, let's get started.
Yes, definitely. Let's get started. And we always start off with a. All right, so we start off with laugh, call, text. And the reason why we start off with laugh, call, text, because the week is really heavy, it's long, so many things that go on in our week, and we want to highlight those things that either made us laugh out loud, call, or text. So start off with the laugh, call, text of the week. So my first laugh, call, my only laugh, call, text is that, you know, I got a phone call from one of my family members who was in the hospital. I was checking in on them, but he called me yesterday. He's out of the hospital. He's doing well. So that is my laugh, my call, text. The positive note of it is that he's doing well. So when I reached out to him, he didn't call me back. He called me back. And now he's out of the hospital and he's doing well. So, and he was cheerful, laughing and joking. So that is my laugh, call, text on a positive note.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that for your family.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Dr. Rowe, do you have a laugh, call, or text, or do you need a minute to think?
Yeah, let me think about that one.
Okay. Dr. Q?
Let me think.
I can go. I'll go.
I mean,
I'll go.
I was just going to follow up with Damien. I mean, I myself have been to the doctor's office a few times these past 2 weeks, but luckily all my lab work came back positive in terms of no issues. So I'm here in front of you guys. So I kind of freaked out. I was like, oh my God, is this what happens when you turn 40? All of a sudden your body starts hurting and you don't know what's going on.
Well, so I'm a decade older than you, so I guess that's the laugh. Yes, it changes, Dr. Q. It changes. Things just kind of move around and settle elsewhere.
Yeah.
It is true. It is true. I have kind of a laugh. So this weekend I have been with my daughters and my mom. We always have an annual shopping trip out of town. And so we've been all together, and for my mother's birthday. Now, remember, my mother is alive. This is the funny part of it. She is alive and very healthy, but I did have her name put in this memorial of a statue of Mary where they pray for mothers every day at 3:00. And I just think my mom is incredible and amazing. And I wanted her name to be engraved in there forever. And so it was dedicated in October, but none of us could go to the dedication. So we took her there this weekend to do it. And she laughingly and jokes the whole weekend of, I am so glad I get to go see this while I am alive. This is great. I get to see my own memorial before I ever go. It is kind of a joke in our family. We were laughing. So it was funny. We giggled the whole way there, but it is wonderful to have her there. And it was a really beautiful place for mothers. And we were happy to honor my mom there. So, yeah.
Cool.
It was cool. It was very cool. Very cool.
Nice. That is really nice. That she was able to sharing that experience. And a lot of times when we do stuff, we kind of like, all right, it passed. We don't get back to it. Especially during the last couple of years. It's good to see like positive celebrations are going on and people are following up. Speaking of positive stuff, today's conversation is how to thrive while healing. And we wanted to have this conversation because both of y'all do a lot of stuff on positivity, thriving, healing practices, dealing with young people. And the first question, do you want to take the first question, Dr. Farron? Sorry.
Sure. Why not? So our topic tonight is how to thrive while healing and protecting your space, right? And so, we combined these together because of a couple of things. Dr. Rowe has an incredible magazine for teens. It's called I Thrive, and some programs that surround that. And Dr. Qureshi is, works with healing families and teens and parents, as she and I do a lot of work together. And so, now both of them are doctors, right? We're talking to doctors here. And so when you were a kid, did you think that you were going to go to school for as long as you did? When you were a kid, did you love school? And did you think you were going to go that long? I don't know about you guys, but I went the very slow track. I mean, from the time that I started going back to school for my master's to my doctorate, I was in school for 12 years. I was also raising a family. I really didn't anticipate that. How about you ladies? Did you anticipate that?
Not at all. And I want to be clear that I'm not a medical doctor. I have a doctorate of education, but it still doesn't take away from the countless hours and years and nerves you need, just to get through. But no, I didn't think it would take this long. And especially, I went through a divorce when I was in school, when I was working on my doctoral degree, and then encountered some emotional stuff going on. And so I had, started the process of addressing that, right? And then ADHD will kick in every time. So I give myself some grace with that. But yeah, it took several years. Even after I proposed my study, when I finished my coursework, it still took me, just several years. So I'm just glad that I got it done. And that was 10 years ago when I finished.
I know.
It went by fast.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
How about you, Dr. Q?
So I think the quickest way to say it, yes, I knew I was going to be in school for a while, but I didn't know it was going to be that long, because there were periods just like Dr. Rowe where I took a little bit time off to deal with personal things. And then there were times where I couldn't get it together to write that dissertation or write that proposal. So I think my dissertation, my PhD, took a little bit longer than I had anticipated, because of the self-doubt and also all the personal stuff and the trauma and the healing that we have to do. We're kind of like, doctors, healers, we're living parallel lives. We're professionals, but as we're professionals trying to heal other people, we're also experiencing a lot of things that our clients and families are. So, it's kind of navigating both. And for me, I knew from a young age that I wanted to be a doctor, but that was more set on being a medical doctor. Yet, God had different plans for me. So, I kind of fell into family therapy, and then I decided to get my master's and my PhD. So I'm very, very thankful I got through it.
Yes.
And let's see, I graduated in 2017. So I'm going on 8 years now. Yeah. I can't believe it. There was a time where I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to get this done.
Oh, wait a minute. What about when people ask you, when are you finishing? And soon I just start saying, whenever you start.
I love it.
I'm out to get real bad, real quick when I'm irritated. Whenever you start, that's when I'm gonna finish.
Yeah, mine was a little bit different in the sense that I was away from my community. Like my family stayed in Maryland and I was in Pennsylvania. So when I created my community there, it was a group of friends and colleagues that kind of understood. So I wasn't necessarily asked that. But I was asked, well, what kind of doctor are you that is taking forever? I was like, the one that you and your family needs.
That's good. You had that support system, though. I've always had a tremendous support system, but you can't get through life and, achieve great things thinking that you can do it by yourself. And so, I definitely had a support system financially as well. Financially as well. My parents paid for every single degree that I have. My parents paid for it. But my parents didn't ride around in the Benzes. They weren't spending frivolously, all of that. They put their money into their kids' education and in my clarinet lessons.
Yes.
And so I
Very
just
talented.
appreciate it. But yeah, you can't go through this, not this thing called life alone and solo.
Especially
No.
at a higher, like graduate school, right? Like a lot of your success depends on your mentorship and your emotional support, right? Like I felt like my program identified me because I went to the same master's and PhD program. So when I interviewed after my bachelor's, I fell in love with them. They fell in love with me. So they had already had a vision for me that I didn't even know. Okay. I think it's the last 5 years where I can go back to my mentor, Dr. Hardy, and I can safely say to him, I see what you saw in that little woman at that time. When I was 23, probably when I started my master's. So when I talk to families or when I talk to young kids, I'm always like, you guys don't see what I see. And I wish you could see yourself through my eyes because I was there.
Yeah.
That is amazing to have that sort of support. And my support was a little different in the sense that my cohort that I was going to school for, I had my master's at one university, changed to get my doctorate at another, but you get in education, there's a specialist degree that you can get in between there. And I was going to stop at that specialist degree and take the summer off. And my cohort that I had been going to classes with said, wait a minute, if you stop, we're keeping going. You won't be with us. And I was like, I just wanted a break for the summer. I've been going to school so long, and I was going such a slow route because I was married. I had 2 kids. I was working full time. Like life was lifing, and I was like, I'm going to have to just suck it up and do it because I want to graduate with this cohort. I want to continue on with them because they were such a great support system, inside and outside of school. So yeah, interesting. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I thought you were typing still, Damien. I was just filling the space. Go ahead.
No, I think that was a great response and conversation around it. People think that we probably could call this 3 DRs and a Damien. You have people who think that this situation where y'all going through and y'all get to where you're at in your career, that there's no challenge, no trials, there's no opportunities where you tired and exhausted. And I think it's great for people to hear that during the process, your support system was so important, and being able to go through it and move forward is so important because people around you kind of give you energy as well. And it's important to have positive people around you. So the question I really want to ask moving forward is, at any point in time in your life that you wanted to do something different besides the profession that you were in? And what made you say, hey, I'm going to go this route?
Well, when I went off to school for my undergrad, I was actually going for law enforcement because my dad was huge into law enforcement. And I took the class. I didn't know what I was going to do with law enforcement degree. I have no idea. But the class was so boring and I was so disengaged in the classroom. And so I dropped the class just before midterms. And then I picked up Intro to Teaching. And when I took that class and had to conduct observation participation hours and just the feel and the looks on the kids' faces when they not just learned something new, but when they went home and talked about it with their siblings or their parents and they started connecting like this new content to past experiences, and then you see the epiphany and that aha moment, it just felt so good. And then they wanted to learn. They wanted to start learning because they saw themselves in the learning. I was done. I knew that I would be teaching forever. I mean, and I'm still doing it. Anytime you're in a space where you're empowering and then you're inspiring and you're using your own experiences to inspire, you're teaching. And so that's why I've been in it 30 years. Next year will be 30 years. This is almost my 30th year. And the only reason why I keep up with this because my son is 29 and I had him in college. That's the only way that I can keep up. But yeah, nearly 30 years of my own growth too.
That's incredible. I love that. Amazing.
Yeah, you gotta love what you do to be in it for that long or for a lifetime, right? So for me, I think it's a really it can, the answer to that question can go two ways, Damien. One is, as a young immigrant, I knew I needed to be a doctor or something fancy, right? And then I also had cousins older than me, female cousins back home in Pakistan that were doctors. So like the pressure was on, but I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to go into the medical field. So in my undergrad, I was actually pre-med. So I did all my pre-med courses and I can take my MCAT and go to med school. Yet I sucked. It was a challenge. I was struggling. My GPA was like a 2.8 with those bio classes, chemistry. I had to take organic chemistry again. Physics, I barely passed with a C. I was just fooling myself trying to get. I mean, I technically could have went to med school. They say even if you don't do well, the Caribbean will take you and then you can come right back. But the sciences did not work for me. So then I took a family therapy course, family studies course. It was an elective for me. My last semester, and mind you, I was getting ready to walk in May. And this was a course that I started in January. I loved it so much. I went and added it as a second major and I ended up double majoring in family studies and criminal justice. I graduated in December instead of May, but I had my second bachelor's. Yeah, I got my second bachelor's in 2 semesters. And the flip side to it, so the other part is, if I were to be anything else at this point, I would be a lawyer, a family lawyer. My other bachelor's is in criminology and criminal justice. So that was my safe route. If I didn't get into a PhD or an MD program, I was going to go to law school. And then over the years, actually this past year, I've actually contemplated going to law school. I'm like, I will make a really good family lawyer.
Wait, Dr. Q, I was thinking the same thing though.
I knew you two were
there
supposed to
aren't
be
the
able to
lawyers
go
out there.
together.
I'm like, dude, do I need to put another hat on and go to court with my clients? Because this is not working. And then I had to bring myself back and be like, Mispa, you can't do everything. You can't do everything. I was like, the legal justice system needs me.
Wait, Q, when is your birthday?
June.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so if I were doing anything else, it would have been a law degree. I've gotten myself out of some tickets too, so I know I'll be good.
I love it. See the connection here, right? That criminal justice, law enforcement, and then both lawyer. I mean, the vibe, I'm telling you, we just knew this would be a good pairing.
Maybe we'll apply together. Next thing you know, you guys.
No, Q, I think that was just a fleeting thought.
It sure was.
I remember when I graduated with my doctoral degree, I said I did not want to read another sentence ever in my life.
Yes.
At all.
I still haven't opened that dissertation book. Yeah.
Yeah. So after a couple of years, I got antsy. I'm like, I want to do something else. I always wanted to do.
And this is what you guys are doing now really kind of helps feed a lot of those things. I think a lot of those needs and urges with the things that you guys are both doing with your profession. I hope it does for you, because I see that what you both are doing is impacting the world in a positive way. So I love that. So to kind of switch gears here. So, you've chosen your profession kind of along a pathway and a line, and you wear that hat, but to your family, who are you? Because we all wear different hats in different situations. So to your family, who are you? You're giggling, Dr. Rowe. You're giggling.
Because I'm the oddball of my family. I am the oddball. Yeah. I mean, most of them, they follow the rules. They color inside the line, but I've always been the total opposite. And it's gotten me into trouble sometimes too, good trouble, maybe a little bad trouble too. But just just risky and don't want to just give in to the status quo. And I think I'm an oddball to my family. But then my nieces, they just, oh my gosh, they look up to me so much. They can be themselves and they can be their flawed self and know that they're not going to be judged or anything like that. So
I love that.
I'm super TT to them.
I love
my
that.
son, he'll probably characterize me as a drill sergeant.
High expectations, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah. But he's 29 now, so I mean, he's just living his own life. But yeah,
I love that. Dr. Q, how about you? You wear a lot of hats.
Oh, yeah, I do wear a lot of hats. Yet I feel like there's one hat. Well, I'm trying to figure out how to answer this question because there's a lot of things that come up for me, and I think depending on who you ask, you may get a different answer of who and what I am to my family. But in kind of condensing it together, when I look at my family, I look at my family that I grew up with here, like my nuclear family, with my parents and my siblings. And then I look at my extended family, which is back home. So as you know, both my mom and dad are deceased. So if we were to kind of just go down memory lane, I would definitely be the black sheep, right? The curious child, the one who stood up and said things even when the world tells you not to. I think if you were to ask my siblings, I'm very opinionated, especially with my brothers. So differences, perspectives, differences in values, etc. And then my family back home, I think we had challenges in the beginning. Yet at this time, I see myself as, aside from being a healer, I feel like the hat that I never take off, or it's hard for me to take off, is to try to be compassionate and empathetic, even when someone's hurting me. So that has been very difficult to be able to kind of juggle that part of me, because I'm very big on like practicing what you preach. And often as a therapist, you can feel overwhelmingly guilty when you're telling someone this, yet you go home and all of this happens, right? But I've learned to use those experiences to connect with my clients as well, because it brings me back to my humanity of like, I am a human first, and then I'm everything else. So again, I think at this point, I would say I'm a healer, but I'm a big motivator. Like, I have both male and female cousins, their children looking up to me. One of my cousins messaged me last week. She's like, I want my daughter to be just like you. And she's only 2 years old.
Wow.
And I responded back to her and I was like, she's going to be phenomenal and even bigger and better, because she's going to have an auntie who's going to pave the way and get her out of the trenches so she can go straight. She doesn't have to get sidetracked while she's on her way there, because, you know, when you achieve your goals and you've had a challenging life, you pave the way for the people that come behind you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of two greater aunties to be helping their nieces. I mean, seriously, right? You know, it sounds like to me that both of you, you know, love them wholeheartedly and are ready to watch them soar and, you know, just rise to the next level in their lives. That's awesome. There's always, it's always amazing to have cheerleaders in your life, you know?
So well, you definitely need that to keep going. I think Damien spoke to that a few minutes ago, is having those positive figures in your life, in your circle, up close and personal with you, so you can be all that you were created to be. I mean, I cannot see myself not having positive influences, you know, in my life. I just couldn't do it. Now, guess what? There was a time that I thought that I could without them. I got it. I can do it. Because for so long, I didn't think that I could. I didn't embrace my internal self, my internal brilliance, and tap into that. I was trying to fit a mold, right? And once I did that, the sky has been the limit. But I have a really good girlfriend, Adeline Randall. We've been friends since we were 6. And every single Wednesday, that's our day. And she called one time about a year ago, said, Ro, on Wednesdays, it's going to be our day. How cool is that? Somebody is penciling you in every single day, not to check on you, but to get laughs, to check in, not check on, but check in. And so they can get fed. That's huge for me, for someone to carve out time in their week for me. And so that just lets you know how valuable you are and to them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Priority. It all goes down to priority of your relationships. You have to pour into relationships for them to grow and blossom. You can't expect not pouring in and thinking the flower is going to grow bright. Right?
Right.
Yeah. And when you think about healing and wholeness, it's basically the same thing. You're becoming whole, or what you used to be in terms of a whole sense. And if you don't have those positive influences, even to help you navigate through those dark days, you won't become whole. That's how you become whole, is to grow through the experiences that you're faced with versus running away from them. Or not taking a risk, Dr. Tanya.
Right.
So you
I love that you both talked about, kind of paving the way for other people, specifically your family, and through your life experiences for them. And I think that's, I want to say gives them permission to try, right? It gives them permission to know that it's okay if it doesn't go. I don't want to use the word fail because I don't feel like there's ever really a fail. I think it gives you permission to try and say, well, that didn't work. Now what? What's next? And to move forward with that. And I love that.
So I do have a question. Like, how do you identify that? Because sometimes having those people in your corners, having those opportunities to stay motivated and be able to deal with all the things that go on in life. Like you talked about having that friend that is able to say, we're going to do this on Wednesday. But you have to be receptive enough to say, hey, I'm going to go with you. How do you get to the point where your eyes are open to actually walk through the door?
I think you just have to be open that there's so many possibilities on the other side of fear. I can make up every excuse not to be on that call with her on Wednesday, or not go after that contract, or, whatever it is, whatever that challenge might be. But there's so much greatness over there. And I've bumped my head enough in my life to know if you just kept on pushing forward, you would see exactly what's on the other side of fear or doubt. It doesn't even exist. Those are feelings. It ain't a fact.
I like that. How about you, Dr. Q? Because I know in the last couple of years, there's been a lot of transition for you, and you've done a lot of things positive in your career. How do you get to the point where you're able to walk through the door and say, hey, I'm ready for these opportunities, and I'm able to take care of myself as well while doing it?
Oh, that's a really good question. So I think part of it is your own self-awareness and knowing where you are in terms of readiness. The other part is, I think what's really been significant for me is having colleagues and friends that actually push you towards your comfort zone, or from to get you out of your comfort zone, right? So I'll give you, again, a classic example. Damien, you and I started the I Choose Me podcast. You remember that first year? Me and you were talking about it. I was talking about it for a while, and then I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. And you led it. You would put everything together. You had the StreamYard. You You took it and you made it work, and I would show up and we would talk. And then the following year, you transitioned out, and then I got 2 extra podcasts, and then I was the one leading them. So that to me is a great example of me pushing my uncomfortability being in the camera, but then also having someone who saw my potential and was like, you know what? I'm going to do this with you because I know you're great and I want to see you out there. You have something powerful to say, and I just got to get you there, and then you're going to fly. And that's what you did for me. So that Dr. Qureshi, the first year of I Choose Me, I remember I would be so anxious. I would prepare so much, trying to make sure everything was right. And now, shoot, I didn't do nothing for this. I'm like, I'm going to show up as me, and it's going to be all great. Me and Dr. Tanya, we'll send each other outlines, and then we'll meet 15 minutes before our podcast, and it would just flow naturally. And now I'm starting 2 more podcasts next year in a different style and format. So I think it's trusting the people around you and believe that they see those things in you and pushing yourself. And that's one thing I think I did a little, I don't want to say too late because I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. But I think self-doubt is so powerful. If we could learn earlier on in life how amazing we are, the sky truly is the limit, guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yet we have all these traumas, right? We have these experiences we internalize that don't allow us to be our best version of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you both for saying that, because that when we envision having this conversation around it, this is stuff that people need to hear. And the reason why we're talking about it, because people need to hear other people saying, you know what, you have to lean on positive people. You have to be able to walk through the door. You have to be able to be receptive to it. And you have to say, you know what, I want better for myself and I'm able to do it. It does not need to look perfect. It just needs to be what it is, perfect for you. And that looks different for everybody else. So thank you both for saying that and answering that question. You know, I really appreciate it. And people really need to continue to hear stuff like this. So thank you both.
I'm glad you brought up the perfection part, though. Dr. Tanya has been in our conference a couple of years now. And I always say every single conference that I waited a decade to even host it because I was waiting for that perfect moment, the perfect amount in my bank account, the perfect this, just everything perfect. I'm like, there is no perfection. There's no utopia. So just get it done. Mm-hmm. Just do it. And so I do remember one lady, and she was just on the call, Karen Cherry Brown. She's a councilwoman here in the Dallas area, city of Duncanville specifically. And her publicist reached out, wanted to be a vendor. She wanted to sell a book. She wanted to talk. And I'm like, okay, sure. And so when she was there afterwards, she was like, Dr. Rowe, you mentioned that this was your first conference. I was like, yeah. She was like, okay, I'll be back in just a second. So she came back, put something in my hand, and she said, you don't have to say anything. And so she left, and about an hour later, I looked, it was a $5,000 check. She didn't know me from Adam. I did not know her. But because she heard my story, well, one of my stories, she heard my story, and she was so inspired. And so my point is, show up regardless. You have absolutely no idea who is watching you, who's going to be inspired by you. Mm-hmm. And all of the many women years after that was in 2023, have said the same thing. Mm-hmm. And so, Dr. Q, to your point, you got to just keep going and show up, not just for yourself, but for others, because people are waiting on us to be us, not be somebody else, but to be us. But to be us.
100%. I remember the very first video that I made when I started my YouTube channel and giving out parenting tips and, you know, tips for educators. I showed it to a couple of my very good colleagues, good friends of mine, and they were like, "Oh, this is really nice. It's good, but you know what? This isn't you. Like we need to see you. We need to see your personality. We need to hear you. We need to see you." And that's really hard. And so I'm glad you're talking about this because people need to hear this. They need to hear this from you. And while you've talked about, you know, taking risks and stretching yourself and, you know, striving for, you know, the next possibility, what motivates you to push forward though? What motivates you to push forward and to protect your own space? So what's the driving motivator behind that?
I mean, for me, I think the driving motivator, the first thing would be like actually seeing people heal and change and make changes and accomplishing their goals. And that could be something as simple for us, at least, would be them getting their learner's permit, right? So that is a big motivator for me, which allows me to show up day in and day out because I know that I am making a difference in this world. And then on the flip end, in terms of kind of balancing it, right? I have to take care of myself so that I can be well to show up for other people. I have to pour into myself and say, okay, I can't pour from my empty cup. Let me take a break. Like, you know, I was gone for 6 weeks. Yay. Right. Never thought I would be able to do that as a professional, because you usually, when you work for other big corporations, you get like 2 weeks off, right? But when you work for yourself, I was gone. I extended it. I was like, okay, I ain't coming back, right? So I gave myself permission to take time off and to be able to rejuvenate so that I can go back in. I do check-ins with myself every morning. Where am I emotionally, physically? What do I need to show up for whoever's I'm seeing that day? And when I don't have it as much, I let my team know. I was like, hey, if you find me being a little iffy today, just know that I'm not at 100% or 80%. So kind of letting my team know as well, like I may need you to step up because this is where I am today.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm big on talents and gifts, and I'm a musician, and what keeps me sound is me playing my music on my clarinet. I got band practice on Monday night, every single Monday night. So I just enjoy playing music and creating harmonies and melodies with other people, you know, with our instruments. That's something that keeps me going. But I had a dream one time, guys, that I was standing at the Golden Gates waiting to get in. And God said, okay, Ro, you didn't do this. I gave you all of this. And he had like a checklist. You didn't use it. Why not? Oh, you were scared. So that really means you don't trust me. And so when I woke up, and this was just a few years ago. So because our motivations change, right? Our motivations from a 30-year-old, 40-year-old, now a 50-year-old, motivations to keep going, it just changes. And so I've been on this spiritual journey for the past few years now. And so I said that I was going to dedicate my life to leveraging the gifts and the talents that I have, because he's the one that gave them to me. Mm-hmm. And so it's so important for me to really unwrap those presents and give them to other people. That's what keeps me going.
You know, that's perfectly said. Both of you just, you know, gave amazing answers, which I'm not surprised at. But, you know, you do both have gifts and talents, and what a, you know, disservice you would be doing to the public for not sharing your gifts and your talents. You know, that's why we were put on this earth, and, you know, we all have them, you know.
Yeah. So speaking of gifts and talents, you know, and sharing them with the world, when y'all talk to young people, what do y'all try to leave them with?
Slow down. Slow down. You know, it's not a race. It's a journey. And so when things happen to you, they happen just as much to you as they do for you. So just get the lesson in that. You know how many bumps I have had on my head for the same thing, just over and over again, you know? And so that's one thing that I always like to share with young people and those that serve them, like their teachers and their principals and their parents, you know, just anybody, you know, just life is a journey. Slow down. It's not over until it's over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And what I would say, add on to that, as you're slowing down and being intentional, have fun while you're doing it.
Yes.
Like dance your way through it. Like when I walk into Umeed Center every day, I be dancing. I put on my Punjabi music. I'm laughing and giggling. We just having a good old time. Like I think laughter is so important because there's a lot of pain in life, a lot. You're gonna find ways to really enjoy the moments that bring you joy and happiness, and you can actually create some of those moments too yourself.
I was gonna say, you know, with the motivating your kids in that area, they spend more time at school than they do anywhere else, right? So when they're at school, it's a grade, something's quantified. You know, if I got an 80%, oh my gosh, I gotta get 20 more %. So I'm sure that you have found, Dr. Q, that's difficult to get through to kids, is laugh and dance their way through because of our own challenges, and we know that, oh shit, that's gonna pass, you know what I mean? But with a child who's just coming into the world and understanding that challenges are there for you to grow from and not to set you back, I'm sure that I want to know some strategies. How do you help these kids laugh and dance their way through?
Yeah, no, we can definitely connect. I mean, one of the things that I love about the work that we do at Umeed Center, I mean, we have a beautiful art room. I definitely think about creative ways to make therapy fun. So we could be playing musical chair at one point. We could be doing Jenga. We could be doing anything. It can be anything. I think the word therapy in itself, like people dread coming to a therapist. Nobody likes going to a doctor for an illness, right? But when you go in there and you see that the person in front of you is very compassionate, understanding, they understand your experiences and you haven't even said a word, they're going to connect with you. They're going to open up.
I'm so glad that you said that, because Dr. Q, so many people are listening, not just therapists, but parents, school leaders are listening. And it's not always about the academics that's going to help kids grow. It's those other aspects, the art, the music, the mental wellness is going to help them grow. So if there are any school leaders out there, try your best to infuse some of those practices into your classrooms and into your schools, because that's what we do at Dream Education, is to work with schools, just do it a creative way to help our kids.
Yeah. I've actually also had to tell adults, parents, and I guess educators too, but specifically parents, because on the family therapy scene, I've had to tell them, like, you got to pick your battles, right? Like, look at the overall struggle of your kid, right? Look at the things that they're doing that are of substance, and strategically navigate that.
I love that.
You got anything for perimenopause? Doc.
You gotta speak to Lisa Feather. She's out there.
Oh, Jesus. I need some therapy for
this conversation's just getting warmed up in here. We just getting warmed up. I love it. And both of you, you know, you both do incredible work. Yes, you both do incredible work with families and teens, young adults. And so I know for you, you probably can define the word thrive and what it means to you. But how do you try to bestow that upon the people that you are working with every day? How do you help them understand how to thrive in their life? Maybe just let's start with, what does it mean to you to thrive? Maybe that'll give a good.
For me, to thrive is to take the experiences that I've had and understand that these experiences are for me to grow. Even the ones that hurt, even the ones that make me sad and depressed, and because I'm still a human being at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But to understand that this right here that I'm experiencing is for me to grow, and I gotta get it.
Yeah.
That's what helps me to thrive, because when you think about thriving, you think about growing, right?
Yeah.
Well, how are you going to grow when things are just the same, just every single day, year after year after year, day in and day out? There is no growth. But if you step outside, sometimes you even have to step outside yourself, right? And put some effort in and know that this is going to hurt, it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's okay. That helps me as a person to thrive, and to know that somebody else's standard of what I should be or who I need to be has absolutely nothing to do with me. That's their business, not mine. So defining my own standards and just throwing myself out there any chance that I can get will help me grow, and it's going to help me thrive.
I love that.
Yeah.
Dr. Q, how about you?
So when I think about thrive, we use that term a lot, especially when we're talking about trauma, right? From surviving to thriving. And as I listen to Dr. Rowe around growing, I'm also thinking, like, when we're working with young children, right? And individuals, for me, even breaking it down to like just one little mini step or accomplishment, like completing something or doing something, to me is thriving. So for example, if you have a kid who is tardy or has truancy issues, and they're able to get up and go to school even 3 days out of the week versus 5, like, to me, they're in a space of thriving. They're better. They've made progress from the last week. So again, when I think about thrive, it's what is it that you want for yourself? What is your vision of where you want to be, and how can we help you get there? It's your definition that's going to define what thriving is.
Yep.
It looks different for everyone, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Love that.
So, both of you left and started your own company. What was the thought process behind starting your company and the need, and also what is the meaning behind the names of why you picked the names of your companies?
Well, I have Dream Education Consulting, and Dream is an acronym for Dr. Rowe. Well, first of all, before I get to the meaning of the acronym, I didn't know what dream was going to be. I just love the word dream. And so I'm huge on acronyms, though, but I didn't understand how I was going to break down the acronym. And so it came to me once again in a dream that it was Dr. Rowe Empowering All Minds. Wow. Initially, I had a nonprofit organization for just teachers, urban teachers, empowering urban minds. But when I got out of the classroom and over a decade of just being involved in experiencing so many aspects of public education, and having a panoramic view of what actually transpires, I'm like, it can't just be urban minds. It needs to be all the minds, all of the minds, empower all minds. So that's how I got Dr. Rowe, Empowering All Minds. And so as the years went on, I really found that it really needs to start with me. I have to be empowered to be able to empower others. I have to be inspired. And as a part of that, I have to embrace those experiences and share those experiences and allow those learnings to infuse in everything that I do.
That's awesome. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's my first time hearing that, hearing the thought behind the acronym. That's so awesome. So I guess maybe I can go into mine.
Yeah, I was waiting for you.
Okay.
I think it was a delay in mine too.
Yeah, so mine, of course, I've shared this numerous times now. So I left and I went into entrepreneurship, or I don't even want to call it entrepreneurship. I just left because I got burnt out. I was tired of working, being a director, running programs for other people, growing it. I had gray hair. I was gaining weight, the whole 9 yards. I was like, screw this. I'm done. I had enough money saved for it to last me a year or two if I just lived a very normal average life. Okay. So I just quit because of burnout. And then I had my private practice that I had started a year before, and I just kind of transitioned full time, which is a center now. So it went from a private practice to a whole center. So the name is Umeed Center for Healing Relationships. And Umeed means hope in my language. So my Pakistani background, we speak Urdu, which is our native language. So it's an Urdu word that means hope. So when my dad passed away in 2020, I was thinking about ways to honor him, to keep him close to me. So I came up with the word Umeed because he was a very hopeful man. So Umeed Center, and then I added the healing relationships because I'm a family therapist. So that's how the whole name came together. But my mom passing away the following year also did a whole lot, let's just say. So Umeed Center for Healing Relationship is really defined and around legacies of loss and grief for loved ones. So the space in itself, which is why I think that's where my transformation around like being a healer versus a therapist came up as well. I started seeing myself move in different ways as a therapist. And I would even say to some extent, I was carefree because I was grieving and I was going to show up the way that I needed to show up, or how my clients needed me to show up, which was raw and authentic because we grieved together. So the therapist and the healer that I am today I'm not the same person I was 5-6 years ago when I had my parents, which is why the work that I do around healing relationship is really about repairing, re-engaging, grief, loss, etc., etc. With that, I do want to say there are pain points, but I think those pain points are going to be part of the next chapter of my life, because when my parents lost, also came a loss of sibling relationships that they kept intact. Even though they were unhealthy, they were intact. So you guys may be hearing about that in the next chapter of my life, on what one loss, how that impacts community losses and family losses as well. So and I keep Umeed. I keep hope that Allah has the best for me in this journey, and I give other people hope through my own grief and loss story.
I can just imagine how impactful your center is, Dr. Q, with you having that mindset. I just think about, I primarily work with education leaders, nonprofit leaders, and to have that mindset, because people are coming to work broken, and having a level of empathy and compassion, you know, and just understanding of what people go through when they come to the workplace. I just think it's so important that the leaders don't necessarily have to address it, but consider it in policy, in activities, and just your approach as a leader.
Yeah. Well, thank
So,
you.
yes, two incredible women with incredible dreams, pun intended, dreams. They are both tagged, both of their, well, Dr. Rose Dream Education is tagged in the comment section on LinkedIn under Damian Kinsey. So if you're watching this under my link and LinkedIn, or Dr. Rose or Dr. Q's, go to Damian's, the comment section. I dropped in Dream Education. I also dropped in UMeet Center for Healing Relationships YouTube channel, so you can stay connected. Both of these women are very active also on LinkedIn. Please connect with both of them. You want to be connected with both of these women, so make sure that you take that moment and connect with both of them.
Thank you so much for having us,
I
guys.
can't believe it's been an hour. I'm like, I look down at my phone, 7:01. Like, what? Like, why the heck did they schedule this just an hour?
Yeah.
Me and Dr. Q, I mean, we could go for another hour if we could.
Yep.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Thank you both for doing this and having this conversation, which just means we need to just do a part 2. So,
I'm ready. Just let me know when, and I'll be there.
Part 2 sounds good. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you guys for having us. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. I'm honored.
It's a pleasure as well. We don't leave without closing with a quote. We want to always leave people with a quote. So what is your quote that you want to leave people with? Who wants to start?
Oh, that's a good one.
I'll go ahead and start while they're thinking. I think that what these ladies are doing is just promoting so much change in our world, with our youth, with our families, in the education system. And it is my favorite quote. I try to live my life by it, but it is, be the change you wish to see in this world. And both of these women are instilling change in the world. So they're being the change.
I'm just going to add to that. That's going to be my own quote: with grace. Be the change that you want to see and be in this world with grace, and not just grace for others, but grace for yourself as well.
I have tons of quotes going on, but I think the one that I would want to share today is based off of the values of UMeet Center, is know that your past, your present, and your future all come together and define you.
I like that.
I love that.
And I'm going to go with a quote: dreams and hope starts with you, and it starts with you being able to do, and nothing is perfect. Just do it for you.
Wow. Well, we just need to get Dream and Hope Center together. That's what we need to do.
There we go. There we go. I love it. I love it.
I mean, I'm just always inspired by people that experience what they experience and say, hey, I need to do something, powerful with this. And it's just obvious that Dr. Q has done that. She didn't sit on those feelings and those experiences. She actually did something with it. And she continues to live out her daddy's legacy.
Well, thank you. He would be very proud, even though I gave him a runaround.
Well, I gave my daddy a runaround too. And in 2022, he ascended to heaven as well. So both of them are looking at us like, look at them now.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes,
Absolutely.
right? I mean,
Absolutely.
it's a journey. I think we talked about that in the beginning.
Well, thank you all for joining us, and we won't be here next week. We'll be here the week after next. So enjoy your time, your holidays off, and If you want to be a part of the 2350 network, please reach out to myself and Dr. Tanya. Both Dr. Rowe and Dr. Q are part of the 2350 network. And till next time, everyone, have a good one.
Thank you for attending the 2350 Effect. If you are interested in becoming a guest or a sponsor, please contact Damien or Dr. Tanya. Join us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the 2350 Effect.